Was the Vietnam War winnable, and was it justified? These are the questions that have provoked heated debates and stirred the minds of historians for decades. The narrative of the Vietnam War begins in the mid-20th century, during the Cold War era. The United States, in its quest to stem the global tide of communism, found itself entangled in a conflict thousands of miles away from its shores. A war that would last for over 2 decades. Picture this. The year is 1955. The streets of Saigon are bustling with life. The United States, under the leadership of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, has just pledged its support to South Vietnam to counter the Red threat from the north. This marks the beginning of America's direct involvement in the Vietnam War. As the years wear on, the war escalates. The jungles of Vietnam become a deadly battleground. The U.S. sends in more and more troops, but victory remains elusive. The war drags on, the body count rises, and the hope for a swift conclusion fades into oblivion. Now, fast forward to the early 70s. The war has taken a tremendous toll, not only on the soldiers fighting in the trenches, but also on the American psyche back home. Protests are raging across the country. The public is demanding an end to the war. And yet the rich and powerful, the so-called establishment, continue to peddle the narrative that the war is winnable and justified. They argue that the war is essential to contain communism, to protect American interests, and to uphold global peace and order. But peel back the layers of this narrative, and you'll find a different story. A story of deceit and manipulation. A story of vested interests and war profiteering. The war was a goldmine for the military-industrial complex. Defense contractors made billions supplying weapons and equipment. The rich got richer, while the poor paid the price. The true cost of the Vietnam War was not just measured in dollars and cents, but in the lives lost, the dreams shattered, and the hope extinguished. In conclusion, the Vietnam War was a costly affair, both in terms of human lives and resources. The narrative that it was winnable and justified was a myth perpetuated by the rich to serve their own interests. The true cost of the war was borne by the soldiers on the battlefield and the citizens back home, who were forced to grapple with the aftermath of a conflict that left deep scars on the nation's psyche.